everybody, so today in this video we're going to be discussing the British monarchy's role in Australia. So one of my last videos, I think it was 2 videos ago now, I did a video based on some of the news that came out that Australia was thinking about leaving the Commonwealth. And I read all of your guys' feedback underneath that video, and I've decided to make another sort of Australia themed video explaining what the British monarchy's role is in this discussion video. And I read all of your guys' feedback, and this video will be a little bit more easy to understand. I've changed the structure of my videos a little bit, so I'm hoping that this is a little bit more easier for you lovely people to understand. We'll go straight into it. So the British monarchy plays a very important part in Australia, even though they're on the other side of the world. The British monarchy obviously resides between London, Windsor and Scotland, and they also reside a bit in Wales as well. But although they're on the other side of the world, to Australia, the British monarchy plays a very important role. The King and the Queen are currently on a tour in Australia at the moment. I thought this was a very good video, sort of fitted in with what the King and the Queen are doing. They're in Australia, so I'm doing a video about the British monarchy's role in Australia, because the King and the Queen are currently in Australia, so it only seemed sort of fit, you know, for that purpose. So the British monarchy in Australia, as they do in England and all the other Commonwealth countries that have the British monarchy as the head of state, have the British monarchy as a ceremonial and constitutional sort of role in the country. That's the role that the British monarchy plays. So the current head of state of Australia, as is the same in the UK and other Commonwealth countries that have the British monarchy as their head of state, is King Charles III, and his role in Australia, as it is in the UK and other countries that have him as a head of state, is mainly constitutional, ceremonial sort of role. He doesn't really play any role of like ruling and stuff like that. That a constitutional monarchy, I'm just going to say this now, a constitutional monarchy has no sort of like role in sort of like making rules and that kind of stuff. That's all up to the government. But in Australia, it's kind of unique because the king actually has someone who does duties for him over in Australia, and this is someone called a Governor General. So if you don't know what a Governor General is, the Governor General in Australia is currently Sam Mostine. Apologies if I'm saying that surname wrong. And she is the current Governor General appointed by the monarch, King Charles III, and she is sort of has a representative role of the monarchy in Australia. And the list of things that she does, I'm going to tell you now. You'll sort of recognise these if you live in the UK or you're very, very educated on what the British royal family do. You'll sort of see a connection between what she does in Australia and sort of how this links to what the monarchy do in their general royal duties in the UK or wherever they go on a royal tour. She does dissolve Parliament. Again, the monarch does that. She does go out and represent Australia at, you know, games and sort of like things that are abroad, sort of represent Australia and Australians, and yeah, that's sort of her role, which is a bit like when, you know, the king will go and do something on behalf of the UK. He represents the UK, as he does other Commonwealth countries, but obviously the king can't be doing this and doing that, so he has somebody step in for him in Australia, the Governor General, and yeah, she sort of does all the representing duties, parliamentary duties for the king over in Australia. The Governor General also does what the monarchy does regularly in the UK, does like ceremonial duties and that kind of stuff. So she does stuff on behalf of the monarchy permanently in Australia, so she just focuses on Australia. But the king does do a lot of stuff behind the scenes for Australia and all his Commonwealth countries and stuff like that, and all of the countries he is head of state for, which includes the UK. But yeah, he has a Governor General in Australia to sort of like help him, represent him, you know, because he can't be in Australia all the time because he lives in the UK. Like in the UK, the British monarchy's role in Australia, as in other Commonwealth countries that again have the British monarchy as a head of state, does not change if you go down under. Another thing that the Australians see the British monarchy as is ceremonial. Like in the UK and all across the Commonwealth and other countries that have the British monarchy as their head of state, the literal sole point that they look at the monarchy for is a ceremonial, you know, sort of constitutional monarchy. It sort of represents their country, represents their values, and the monarchy doesn't just represent British values. The British monarchy represents the UK's values, and then Australian values, and then all the other countries that have him as their head of state. So he doesn't just represent the UK, he represents all the other Commonwealth countries as well. And mostly to this day, the British monarchy doesn't just have, you know, sort of the British values. They have the entire world's values. They have not just the Commonwealth and the British values, they have the entire world's values, because the monarchy are well versed across the world, you know? Again, like in the UK and the other Commonwealth countries that have the monarchy as a head of state, the British monarchy over in Australia is seen as representing their national identity, representing their history, representing, you know, continuancy, traditions, that kind of stuff. So exactly the same as they're seen basically over here in the UK. The next point is about legal and parliamentary sort of ways that are basically similar in Australia as they are in the UK. So Parliament in Australia is basically, they derive most of their rules from the Crown. So they, you know, sort of everything is like, you know, you have in the UK, you have the Crown, you know, courts and stuff like that. Everything is sort of under the monarchy. So you'll have the emblem of most of the courts in this country are under the emblem of the royal family. It's exactly the same in Australia. But in Australia it's different, a little bit different, because the Governor General, as I spoke about earlier in this video, also plays an important role in sort of helping with those sort of, you know, dissolving of Parliament and putting in really important rules into Parliament. But ultimately, like in the UK, the monarchy only plays a constitutional and representative role of the said country, and so you will not see the monarchy standing in Parliament going, this is happening, this is happening. The only time they'll stand in any Parliament, in UK especially, is when they open Parliament and they will literally read a speech that the Labour government, the Conservative government, or whatever government you've got in that country will literally sort of, so for instance, the King, he spoke in this country a couple of months ago about what Labour's goals were when they opened Parliament again. And that is, again, written by Labour, but the King will just read it. So it's not the King's speech, it's Labour's speech, but the King reads it. It's a bit confusing, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, over in Australia, it's exactly the same. The Governor General will do all of the stuff over there with Parliament. But again, the monarchy, as they are in the UK, they are literally simply ceremonial and constitutional. They will not get involved in any rules. And the rules that are made in Australia, UK, or any other country are their own elected government. And this is probably, you know what I'm going to say, again, like in the UK, the British monarchy are seen in Australia, as is the Governor General, as spoken about earlier in this video, are all politically neutral, as they are in the UK. So no difference there. This one, we're going to finish it off with a little bit of public sentiment as well. So what does the Australian public think about the King, the royal family, etc.? Obviously, we could then go on to the last video where people were a little bit like in the middle of whether Australia would leave the Commonwealth and become a republic, and I just wanted to clear this up here. I may have made an error in that video where I was, that last video I did about Australia, I'll link it down below, you can watch it if you haven't seen it. I basically made an error. I was talking about the Commonwealth and I linked it to the Republic, which was not meant to happen at all. That was literally completely my error. You can still be part of the Commonwealth if you are a republic country. So for instance, the King is the head of the Commonwealth. He has countries in his Commonwealth that are republic countries. King Charles is the head of the Commonwealth, right? So that's a little bit of the error I wanted to clear up there. So yeah, apologies about that. It's, some people were a little bit abusive on that video, not realising that it is really hard to script a video and then actually remember all the points you want to remember and put it in a reasonable time frame where it's not going to be boring. So I apologise for that mistake. But yes, the Commonwealth, I will do a video about the Commonwealth and Royal Report of Lydia, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I am aware of the Commonwealth. I do know what the Commonwealth is, do not worry. But yes, the public sentiment in Australia is very mixed. You know, some of them want a republic, some of them don't. The majority I've heard from an Australian in the last video commented and said the majority of Australia actually like the King. So that is a positive, because we love Australia, being part, having, you know, our monarchy as their head of state as well, because we have really, really strong history with Australia. We all love Australia in the UK. So to have our monarchy also joined to their country is really, really special for us as the UK citizens, because we have a really strong connection with Australia, as we do with many countries across the world. So I just think that it's really special that we, you know, our monarchy has, you know, lots of history in Australia, and Australia is such a beautiful country. I really, really want to visit Australia when I grow up. But I just wanted to say that, you know, yes, the Australians there are talks about the Australians becoming a republic and maybe leaving the Commonwealth as well. Like in this country, you know, there are lots of polls at the moment going around about, oh, how positive are the monarchy in this country. Even the British people are thinking about that. But I just think, as I've said in the last video, I think in about Australia the last 2 videos ago. I think it was 2 videos ago. Yeah, I said I mentioned about, you know, how important it is to have a monarchy in a country, because for the UK and other Commonwealth countries, the monarchy is part of our rich history, you know. And I think it's really important that we have the monarchy because, you know, they help with traditions, they keep our culture going, and they're just such a good representation, national identity for the UK and other Commonwealth countries. So it's really, really special to have a monarchy, and I'm a UK citizen, and I'm honoured to have a monarchy as our head of state, because while prime ministers come and go, you know, and you know, we've still got a monarchy. We've still got a monarchy that we recognise, that are there to support our country, you know, there to support the Commonwealth and there to support the charities, and they pay such a lot of money. No matter what people say who are uneducated about the monarchy play such an important role in our country that I don't think some people realise, to be fair. You know, they pay into charities, mental health services, the NHS, so a lot of the stuff they do is really benefiting the people that are most forgotten about in society as well. So yes, the monarchy does play a very important role in the UK and the Commonwealth. Yes, anyway, that is the end of the video. As you can see, in Australia, the monarchy plays a similar role as it does in the UK. So you can see where there's not that much difference between them, except from in Australia, they have a person there who does stuff on behalf of the monarchy, which is the governor. Yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was easier to understand than the last Australian video. I apologise to people that, yeah, couldn't really follow that video. I do sometimes go off on a tangent, sometimes, I will admit. But I'm learning every day. You know, I'm learning how to, you know, construct videos better, and, you know, people were giving me lots of constructive feedback in that last, I think it was 2 videos ago now, the Australian video, give me lots of feedback of how I can improve, which is really, really, really helpful. The one thing I don't appreciate in any of the comment sections is people just being rude, because I can't take any advice, or I can't grow and learn out of something where people are just like, this was really bad, and I'm like, right, okay, so, you know, I respect you watching the video, but, you know, where can I improve? So if you're going to give me criticism, please make it constructive criticism so I can actually improve for the next video. Do not go around putting in someone's comment section, anyone on YouTube's comment section, going, this is a bad video. Because a content creator can't look at that and go, oh yeah, oh okay, yeah, well what can I do next time? Because you haven't given them any advice. So thank you to the majority of people in that comment section that took the time to write some amazing constructive feedback and helped me to make this video a little bit better. I'm hoping it's better. I'm hoping you enjoyed it. But for the people that were just making fun of me and just being rude, please next time could you give me some constructive feedback if you're going to comment. Please do not make fun of me, because as I've said, I'm still a young person, I'm still learning. I've been doing YouTube for 8 years. I've been doing journalism for about 6, but every day I'm still learning new things. I'm trying my very best to make sure that I make each video better than the other, and I'm always trying my best, and I'm always looking for better ways to improve my content. Even if everyone likes it, I'm still like, oh, what can I do better next time to make this video much better? So yeah, but I really, really appreciate the majority of people in my last 2 videos that were just really, really, really kind of like, oh, you could have done this better, and I'm like, oh well, thank you so much, because constructive feedback helps me a lot and helps me to make these videos better and better. So thank you so much for everyone for taking the time in the 2 videos ago in the Australian video for giving me some feedback of how I can improve my content, because without that I wouldn't have been able to make this video a little bit better than the last video. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed that video. Smash the like button if you did, and we'll see you in the next report. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye!